I don't need to ask you how up everybody is for this, but just how big is it, Wayne?
Huge. Yeah. It's obviously we've had a taster of it, and a couple of seasons ago when it, obviously we've got, I'm not saying the spine of the team's still here, but there's still a few that were involved, and we want to just make that next step, and that's that promotion that we've been trying to fight for all season, really, because we've just been in the top. We've been in the top 5 or top 7 most of the season. It's always been, feels like it's always been around. The building that we're driving to be third, we're driving to be top. So it's always been here. So that's not been. Whereas a little bit different, the 2 seasons ago when we had we had a dip, then we went to mid-table, then we had to sort of put a good run together to get into it, which we did obviously last minute. And then, this year seems different. It seems like we're more focused on the job, and that was promotion from our point of view. But obviously we've got a couple of hurdles in the way, and Forest Green being the first one. So we know it's going to be tough, but listen, we've give ourselves a chance, and that's all we wanted.
Yeah, because have you had to get over any disappointment about not making the top 3, or has it just been that focus you've been talking about?
Yeah, no, there hasn't been any disappointment. We're disappointed when we lose. Simple as that. It's not a case of we're disappointed because we haven't finished third, or second, or it's not. It's just been one of them strange seasons, hasn't it? And we've had our ups and downs, but do you know what? Looking back on it, we've had more ups this year than we've had than a lot of clubs. Look at the clubs that struggled, got relegated. Some of the clubs that hadn't even made the playoffs. Look at Salford, for instance. Look at the turmoil that they've had, and Bolton only just did it. And look at the budgets that they've got. And when you look at it, it's been a tough season for everybody. But we've had 2 cup runs. We've got to the playoffs again. There isn't any negative that I can say from this season. There isn't. So, we're going to go into it in full positive mode, and like I said, we got some hurdles, but we're prepared, right, like we always do, and the lads have had a good week as well. So that's been pleasing. So we've got everybody fit, and that's all you want. When everyone's fit, everyone's knocking on a door to play and trying to prove that in training. We've had a really good week, and that's all that's pleased me.
So is Joss Lavery going to be okay?
Yeah, everyone's fit. Yeah,
that is a remarkable turnaround, isn't it, from him?
He's only had a little scratch. Come on.
Which took him to the hospital.
Like everybody thinks like he makes out like his leg was half sawn off. Come on, he's a tough cookie. He's a tough cookie, but that's been the pleasing bit, that we've been able to get him fit and get everyone around him as well, which is, we had a little bit of a rest as well, but just recharge the batteries, and then away we go.
When he went off at Southend, it looked horrible. You were closer, so you could have a good look. And he ended up, he posted pictures from the bed. I don't know if it was hospital or not, but he's a warrior, isn't he? Has it been a job to get him fit, or was there no way he was going to miss out on this? You tell me, Wayne.
No, he's listen. You can speak to him yourself. You know what he's like. He plays with his heart on his sleeve, and he's a big influence for us. In the way that we press, and the way he's one of the best in the league at doing it. Especially at the top end of the pitch, and he has that presence about him that can put a bit of fear into the opposition, which is great. Obviously, I'll add that to the referees involved in that don't give him. He doesn't get anywhere near as many fouls as he should do, and whenever he makes one, it's always a foul, and it's always a booking. But he's one of our he's one of our stalwarts, and he's one of them. You know, that he wants to win badly, and when you add that to the other parts of his game that he's done really well with this year, the scoring, the goals, the penetrating runs, etc. And like you see at Mansfield, he's added more just to that, that spiciness to him as such, that resilience to his game, which is what we need.
Because of the rules being changed, Newport County, this game is the first event in Wales in sport that will have crowds. May only be 900, but how big a lift is that for you and the players, and how much difference do you hope it'll make?
I'm hoping it's going to make a huge difference. We've only experienced crowds once this season, which was at Leyton Orient, and I can only tell you, as it was from an opposition's point of view, that we felt that it was such a lift for them, and it didn't feel like it was for us. So I'm going to envisage that will happen to Forest Green tomorrow. So they've not had fans, as far as I know, throughout the whole season. I'm not sure if they did.
They did.
They did. Did they? Okay.
3 games.
They've had 3, have they?
I think it's 3 games they've had. Yeah.
Wow.
Only 600 or something.
Right. Okay. Well, they're maybe used to it, but they're not used to it being not their own fans. So
December it was. It's a long time away. It's December, a long time ago.
Okay. Yeah. Listen, I'm in hoping that it will really have a big influence on us, because they've not been there. And you've seen over the weekend, Leicester, etc. It can have a real impact on the players and the staff. I'm just looking forward to it, really, because I didn't think we'd have any this year, if I'm being honest.
So you've really got to give them something to cheer about now, hasn't it? That's the responsibility of the players.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, we normally do though, Rob. We've given a few things to cheer about, haven't we?
Absolutely, yeah. So, but I mean, the crowd can be there, but it can be negative if things are going wrong.
Well,
but is that the positive thing you're looking for? Yeah,
that's the nature of the beast, isn't it? We both know that. We know what industry we're in. You just hope that. Well, I'm not hope, but because I know that they get behind us. They're all our fans in there, and that's it. Simple as that. They've been desperate to see football all season, and and if there's any negative performance because of it, I don't think it's going to be because of the fans being there. That's we're going into it in full confidence. We're unbeaten for a little while now, and it's that's been we've had the same team as well. It's been we've been able to keep a little bit of a familiarity as such, and that's been refreshing, as well. So we just got to look ahead and think, right, it's the next game. Crowds are in, fans are in. It's great. That's another positive, because that could hopefully be the difference. Whether they can, make as much noise as if we might have had a full house, then that's down to them. But I hope they do.
Yeah. And the last couple from me. What will be a good result tomorrow night, Wayne? What would you be happy going to Forest Green with? Clearly you want to win, but know what I mean.
Yeah, clearly I want to win. I don't know. I'm quite that pessimist, really. I don't really look that too far ahead. I just deal with what's in front of me. In what we can control. We can control how we play Tuesday, and then we're going to have to control what happens on Tuesday. After what happens on Tuesday, that's all I can say. And I know it's a cliche, but you just never know, do you? You never know in football. I know that I'm going into the game really confident, and that's what's pleasing for me. And the group of players will know that they know that. We're doing our last bit of prep this morning, and it's been building up all week. So that's all I'm focused on, really. But the group are raring to go, and I just hope we get the. You need that little bit of lady luck, maybe the odd decision that goes your way, but hopefully we can we can take that away. You know, that lady luck bit is just do as everybody play as well as they can, do their jobs properly, and then we'll be all right.
So hopefully a week next Sunday about 10 o'clock, we'll see a happy, angry Wayne for Hatswell.
You'll always see a happy, angry Wayne. Always.
All the best, mate. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Beth, do you want to go next?
Yeah, hey, sorry, I'm driving, so hence I'm not actually driving, but I'm in the car. Anyway.
Be careful.
Yeah, I will. Obviously, we've talked about the last few seasons, and, you know, to be fair to Newport, you've always kind of, you know, punched above your weight in a lot of competitions. But what is different about this year? You know, we've seen the kind of momentum you've had in the league, but, you know, and you've said it yourself, this feels different. But what do you think that actually is?
Listen, we've been here now 4 years, so that, you know, with COVID, it gave us a real chance to reflect on what we've done in that gap. So what we was noticing was that Newport over the years have been a stopping team. That's what I'll describe it as. Now, a stopping team meaning that, like you said, always punched above their weight, always been the team that maybe, you know, fighting relegation, etc. So we've always had to stop the opposition from playing first before we then try to impose ourselves on them. That makes sense? So we've had a real shift in that mindset this year. So a lot that we do, we focus on what we do a lot more, hell of a lot more. And basically it's just based around certain oppositions. And that for me has been really instrumental in how we play and the principles of how we play. And then what happens is when you gain a little bit of success from that, it snowballs. And that's what's been really pleasing then, is that the players then buy into it. Anybody that comes into that environment and comes into the culture here, whatever you want to call it, that then is already set in stone. And they kind of then just adapt to it, or, you know, there may be little tweaks with certain players, etc. Midfield, we might be a 2 and a 1 or 1 and a 2, whatever it may be. So there's tweaks around it, but that's been the most positive things for me, is that COVID has given us a chance to really reflect on how we could change the whole mindset of the players, the group, and it not being, you know, Newport ain't going to be that stopping team anymore. That has been the biggest shift for me.
And it's really interesting you said about, you know, being in the league for, you know, a few years now. Do you think it helps that some players have been there and done that, and it's not a first now that, you know, being in the playoffs?
Yes and no. You know, you can get players where they might get a little bit comfortable. That makes sense. You know, it's like probably you're driving your car. You probably might have had enough of it after 2 years. You know, and some players here probably have had enough of me shouting at them, or, you know, me, the gaffer shouting at you, whoever it may be. You might have had enough and want a bit of a change. So it's, you know, it's keeping everybody fresh. But we want them to enjoy it here. It's hard work, because that's what it is. But we want to. There's groups that, you know, the players have helped doing that with the spine of it, and they've been here. That helps other players come into the squad, and that has helped in that kind of respect. But they do know that it's still, you know, you got to earn your right to get into the team. Don't matter whether you've been here 4 years or 4 months. It doesn't matter. So it's been easier, but in a tough season. But it's helped that, you know, we've had a lot of positives this year, which has been the main thing. Like I said before, you can, when you have a little bit of success, it helps immensely in what you try and do, and how you try and incorporate players in, or that kind of thing. That makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously Flynn is not here, but talk about him. He's been, you know, the driver in what Newport have done over the last few years. Is there a thought in your mind as well that you could lose him to another team if you don't make the league, the playoffs?
We could lose Michael Flynn.
Yeah.
Say?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, obviously not to a terrible illness. I mean, obviously to another club.
I don't really know how to answer that, if I'm honest. The only way I can answer it is that if you're a manager and you're having success, then you're always going to be looked upon as a target. That makes the target the right word. But there's provisions in place that stop managers from going. See what I mean? So there's both sides to every story, and he's just focused on getting promoted. Getting his club promoted, and that's both of us really. I don't really think about what happens in the future, and I think he's under that same umbrella that you never know what's around the corner, and you just look at likes of the other clubs. Really, there seems to be League Two now seems to be sacking seasons now applied, or with Tranmere, Keyfield go in, they've got their playoffs. We're playing most of the teams in the playoffs with no manager or potentially no manager. So that stability lies at Newport. And he's been here a long time. He's one of the longest serving in the leagues, and that's a credit to everybody, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, good luck tomorrow.
Chris, you want to go next?
Oh.
I mean, yeah, I won't keep you much longer. Just on Labs, how important has he been since Oldham, when he said himself he was disappointed by what went on, but he's really come back and led the charge, hasn't he, in the second half?
Yeah, sometimes he was disappointed with himself, and he was disappointed in that he felt he probably just let he let the lads down, and he hadn't done that, and for a long time, and I think because he's captain of the club as well, it's a big responsibility for him, and I think sometimes when you have a little knock like that, you get a chance. Like I said before, you get a chance to reflect, and I think that's what he done. He just thought, right, I'm gonna knuckle down. I'm gonna prove again that and that's what you have to keep doing. I'm gonna have to prove again that Labs. If I'm talking about Labs as me being him, then he wanted to prove to people that he's not that petulant person that might wear out at somebody or whatever and cost us a game, because he does things so well for us. He's a big influence, so he has to understand that mentally, that he is a fine balance to what he does, and I think as he's maturing, he's getting a better understanding of doing that, and that's been the key with him. But like I said, he sometimes plays on the cuff, of the borderline of it, because it can happen anything. It's a late tackle doesn't mean it's malice. That malice is there. It can just mean that you just got there slightly too late, and it can be a lot worse than what it is. And at this level, I'm not saying that you'll make the most of it, but when Labs goes in like that, a lot do. So, and that's he's an old been around a block League Two player, so everyone knows him, as well, which goes against him at times. But I think because he had that knock, I think he's come back, thought about it, and he's come back definitely a lot better for with a better mentality for us.
So I'm trying to do this while juggling, looking after my little boy. So, in terms of, you've not had team debates presumably you're still having the debates, but you're just sticking with the settle side, or is it?
No, it's always debates, always. There's no, we change winning teams, we change losing teams. It's not, there's never any one set formula. So yeah, everyone's available, which, like I said, is the best thing for our point of view. And, we want to keep everybody hungry, because we will need everybody. Is that when you look at it a couple of years ago, we needed everybody in the subs, the when we went down to 10 men in the final, we needed every one of them, and it helps this year. Now you get obviously the subs has gone. You can get a lot more subs on the pitch, but that can always have an add-on effect that it disrupts you. But listen, that's something that we got to cope with. But hopefully we'll be fine.
And just finding a bit of housekeeping. In terms of Flynn, why are you here in a nice way? What are we saying? Because otherwise people will say he's off to Bradford or something. Is he just
no, because
unavailable?
He's unavailable. He's he's not. He's got bigger engagements. I think he's just got to meet people. That's the difference. It's not always meeting Bradford.
No.
It's like there is other people here other than Michael Flynn.
No. It's just one. You know what I mean, though. You know what I mean. Otherwise, people say,
he trusts me to do it.
Exactly.
No. And I have done it before. So it's not like 500 interviews later, then all of a sudden I just appear, is it? I've been at the club. I've been at the club nearly 10 years. There ain't many interviews that I've done, but you can look through the archives, and I've done some. So
no, usually sends you out after a bad defeat though, when he's in a bad mood.
No, he's not done that. See, he's not. It's not always when someone loses, because that's your perception. That's your perception.
It was Leighton Orient. It was Southend. I think he made you do, didn't he? Was it?
Felt like a loss.
All good. There we are. All good.
Yeah. Look what I said that day. That would turn out to be a good point. What happened?
There we go. Give you the top job.
Callum makes me doing it anyway, so I just give him dog's abuse.
All good. I'll let someone else go. Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot.
Take care, guys. Bye.
Wayne, it's nice to have the brains behind the operation.
That's it. See, now we're starting. And
we have to sit.
Rob, that's unbelievable. You're shaking your head.
He's crawling big time, mate. He's crawling big time.
We have to sit through some guff on Friday mornings, But it's been intelligent stuff today. I know the lads are in good shape.
Good.
Can I just go back to Joss Lavery? How many stitches did he have in the end, or technically, what happened to his leg? 8 stitches.
Yeah.
8.
A sharp.
Were they internal or? Yeah. Were they internal, external, or was it?
All external.
Right. So, is he going to be strapped up?
He'll have a plaster. It'll be about that big. Right.
Okay. So, in the end, as you're joking a little bit, it wasn't quite as serious as
I'm
people feared.
not joking. That's it. That's it. He's had 8 stitches, and he'll have a plaster over it.
Yeah. So it's not going to stop him from running or anything like that?
No.
No. Great. Okay. Secondly, is Priestley fully fit?
Yes. He's not. He's fully fit. He's training with the squad. He's been training. He's been pushed really hard by the medical team, and he looked really good on I'm forgetting my days, what days we are here now, but Friday, Saturday. Yeah, he looked really good.
Yeah. Okay.
Which was really pleasing.
Yeah, because we thought he'd gone for the whole season.
No, we knew then that we could get him back for the playoffs. He would have been if it would have been, obviously we didn't, to the end of the season. Yeah. But no,
so that's another good option for you to have.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Going back to what you said.
Ash Baker.
Yeah. Okay. Going back to what you said about COVID and having the chance to reflect on style. How much did you and Michael speak to the senior players about this change in style, and what we saw in the first half of the season? Can we now replicate it on some decent pitches for 3 more games?
We didn't really need to gain the senior players on board. We knew that they could do it. It was a case of, we got in certain players around them, as well. So when you look at Liam Shepherd's come in, made that big, huge difference for us. We put Matty Dolan back there. That's made a huge difference, but been a senior player for us. Josh Sheehan, who's just going. You've seen how good he is. And then you add now coming into it, Aaron Lewis, that factor. when you had Scott Twine, etc., that they all linked up in their own way. Selling it, like I said before, wasn't quite easy, but it felt easy. It felt natural for the group. It felt like our next challenge, our next step. So that was good. It wasn't like I said to you before. I didn't want us where we'd have to impose our style of play, which would have been that we get in your face, that kind of stuff, Newport-esque. We still do that. That's never gone away. But what we've done, we've had a mindset shift. We've had a little bit of a difference to when we can play, how we play, a bit more structured. And it maybe it's been the pitches have helped, but on the flip side of it, when we've had some bad pitches, we've suffered because of that principle and the way that we played. All the way through the start of the season, we knew was going to change. And what I tried to do is that I knew that was coming, so we just tried to introduce certain terminologies that were different, but still the same of when we have to deal with a bad pitch. And I just don't think we dealt with that well enough. So as a learning curve, that's something that I got to look at. We got to look at.
So
the pitch does.
So can you just go back to the basic start of the season and the way you were played then? Will we see that approach for what's going to be these incredibly?
I think you've been seeing that in the last couple of months.
Yeah.
We even when we had the bad pitches, when I look back at some of the stuff that we played on them pitches, it's incredible, unbelievable, and keep doing it, keep trying it, and and they were mentally tired, physically drained, because teams that come to us only have to play on that pitch once.
Yeah,
we had to play on it every other week. Listen, I don't want to get into a excuse culture. We don't. We just had to get on with it and deal with it. And now the pitches are coming around are good. We're trying to we're seeing like we're just getting back to where we were. But don't forget, it's hard work to keep the ball, to make the right runs, to to when we ain't got the ball, there's still principles around it that. That when you look at, we've had a hard work in front two of Podge and Lewis of late, and you don't understand how the knock-on effect for the team that has. It's been immense.
Yeah.
So that's been, that despite, with the ball, we've been brilliant without the ball as well, especially in the last couple of months.
Yeah, I think that Michael said that, the defence starts up front, so don't you say it's a clean sheet for the back four or back three or whatever you play. The other, I asked Lewis the other day, what are his GPS stats? I mean, how many K?
It's more his high speed running, He's, but that's the way he is, that's just the way he plays. He's, his high speed was high, but because he hadn't played for a little while, see what I'm saying? So he was in that risk category that he could get injured, but he's probably 10 stone wet through, isn't he? He's 19, 20.
But he's taken on Podge's mantle, hasn't he? Of I'll run further and faster than anyone else. I mean, those two up front must cover.
I think that would be very close.
Yeah.
Podge's date is probably one of the highest at the club.
Yeah. Great example to follow. Right. Speaking of those two, have you got enough goals to go all the way? Because that's one of the criticisms of the side of late. You haven't been able to put teams away. I know you scored 4 the other day, but against top class teams, are there enough goals in this side?
It's the hardest thing to do in football, isn't it? Put the ball in the net. You look at, when you look at Chelsea at the weekend, I watch it every week. There's certain clubs that are suffering to put the ball in there. You look at Brighton. I can go through every league. You haven't just got a divine right to go and score a goal. It is the hardest thing to do in football. Hardest thing in football to do. And all we can do and focus on is their weaknesses and exploiting their weaknesses. And that's all we're going to do. And when you want that little bit of brilliance, when the game's going, may get a little bit stretched, then the hour mark when, the likes of Lewis has to make that second back run where he's, when he's tired, and it might gain us a penalty, for instance. That's just in your heart, what you do and your desire. That they're the things that can win you the game. You want that bit of quality in the final third, but trust me, we will get to their box a lot more than what they will to ours, because I believe we're the better team, and that is despite the results that we drew up there and they beat us at home. That has gone out the window for me. Different day, and everything is different around it. So I know that suits us more, and the lads are going into it in good confidence from what I'm seeing. And like I said before, we will cause them more problems. And I just
is your Collins better than? Sorry, is your Collins better than their Collins?
If you look at data, then no, because Aaron scored more goals than Lewis, and he's obviously an older brother. But I know what Lewis has been doing of late is better than Aaron Collins. And I mean as in around the game, as in closing players down, as in putting your head in where it hurts, as in gaining us throw-ins down the channel so we can then exploit that. It gaining corners from nothing. Is tenacity without the ball has been brilliant, and that's something that Aaron probably wouldn't be very good at. And so they both have their strengths, both have their weaknesses. But like I say, looking on data, then Aaron Collins would be obviously the better one with the more goals. But he's played a lot more than Lewis. I hope they have a bit of good rivalry between the two of them. But knowing both of them, I can't see there being a punch up in the house. So that's all I'll say.
Yeah. Is it good that Jammer's not available? Will that just put a bit more pressure on Aaron to score?
Yes and no, but they would have been a different proposition with Jammer in the team, and rightly so. He's been probably arguably one of the best players, but because he's now not been there for a little while, what you do is you would then adapt, and you get used to that being adaptable. So what they've done is they've adapted now to Davison, and they've adapted to Aaron as well. So all of a sudden, their dynamic is shifted. So they know Jammer's not the quickest up top. We know that, but that's now added a different dimension to Forest Green. So that's made him a lot more dangerous. If that makes sense. So with them now not having Jammer, and they've got used to that kind, you get quickly forgotten, and that's the difference. But I believe that we can deal with any style of play that they've got, which is what we've embedded in the group for a very long time. So
on a technical point of view,
it doesn't matter. Yeah,
on a technical point of view, will you be remaining on the side that you were on, or are you coming back to the dugouts?
We're back to the dugouts, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so that's good for you, because it means if the drum comes in, we won't be able to hear all the abuse you give the referee.
There's no comment on that. I am nothing but nice to the referees.
Well, that's not what the bloke said the other day when he came over to have a quiet chat.
He said to me that I was bellowing. I didn't know whether there had to be levels to how hard you shout or whisper. But if you look at the record, though, I just want it on record that, again, if you look at the stats, somebody has got more bookings than me.
Oh, would he be close to you on a match day?
Very close.
Very close, right? Yeah. Okay.
So, when you look at when the one who gets all the boy that cried wolf, that's me in the corner.
Yeah. Okay.
You
yeah. I've
taught him well. Is that what you say? I've taught him well, Rob, haven't I?
You do take the bullets for him, don't you?
I take a lot of bullets, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's why I got this vest on.
Great. Look, thanks for that. Sorry to go on a bit, but we're all very excited about tomorrow.
Yeah, me too.
Great.
Damien, do you want to go next? From PA? I think you're on mute. Sorry, Damien. Damien, I think you're on mute. Sorry.
Sorry, I thought I'd come off.
Hi, Damien.
Cheers, hi, Owen. Several of the players who played in the final a couple of years ago are still with you. Can you use the disappointment of that day as added motivation going into this campaign?
I don't know. That's a tricky question. Even I've got to deal with the disappointment. You know, we did as staff, and it's not a nice feeling. I can tell you that. I hope they do. I don't know. My answer to that is that it's just not a place you want to lose. You know, you sort of you work so hard to get there, and then excuse me, and then all of a sudden you get a sort of kick in the teeth, really. And that's how it felt like. But I don't know how you can use that and go, well, you know, we don't want to feel like that, but you don't want to bring it up as well. You don't want to bring up that disappointment because we're a different group. We're in a different place. So I think with us, we just got to focus on the positives. Like I said, you get a chance to reflect. What we do is we're reflecting what we did well, how we travelled. We're learn from it in more respects. That's going to be probably my remit with it, is that I'm going to learn from it, and I've grown because of it. I've grown as a person, I've dealt with that disappointment, and I want that feeling that, you know, like Leicester had at the weekend when they've won, you know, and it's if you're going to do it, they always say to me, if you're going to win, you win at Wembley, and win via the playoffs is the best feeling ever, you know, whatever. But it's just, there's always a loser, and you got to think of, it did do us damage. It did, you know, because the following year you get less time off. You're dealing with a big hangover of disappointment when you're going into the following season. You lose out on recruitment because you've gone on longer. There's so many hurdles that we had to face when we come back. And again, there'd be the things that, you know, you'd have to reflect on, but you don't, it's in League One, and that's, but, you know, we got a 1 in 4 chance, and a lot of football to be played.
Absolutely. And on a more positive note, you mentioned earlier the cup runs you've been on over the last couple of years. How much does that prepare you going into this kind of sudden death football?
Massive, I would say. In that we use that as a tool that, you know, we've played against a lot better teams. So for us, learning from that, we use a lot of that. You know, them at that level, teams move the ball better and they keep the ball better. So when I use that, you know, the mannerisms of, you know, we become that stopping team, that was relevant for them types of games. And we did that well. So it's always that's always there in the locker when we need to, you know. As in, will that come into play? It could well do over 2 games, you know, especially with the second leg being away from home. Then that may come into play, but obviously the first game may dictate that. So that, again, that's going to just be, you know, I ain't got a crystal ball, but yeah, with the mindset they add into it is that when you play against teams like that, you need every one of you to run harder, run smarter, stick to the game plan, because when you don't, one loses it has a knock-on effect, and you get punished by the better teams, and you've seen that. We won't at our level, but, you know, then we do take that into consideration, that we can put them types of performances against them types of teams, then we can do that against anybody. And I think we've shown that a lot more this year than we have done in any previous years, hence why we've been in the top 7 all season. So we're a tough nut to crack. That's all, from opposition's points of view. So that's the main thing for me. Sure.
Just finally from me, when you think about where you were on the final day of the season 4 years ago. This must be a very different pressure.
Oh God, yeah. I don't know if I was still quite relaxed. I was quite relaxed going into the Notts County game. I wasn't quite relaxed with a couple of minutes to go, but yeah, that's the roller coaster of football, isn't it? It is just when you've seen some of the pictures at the weekend, that sort of galvanised me a little bit. That the football gods, they look down on you quite nicely. Then it can be incredible, really, what people can achieve and what they can do. And seeing that was really, really good at the weekend. And I just hope that we get that, because the players deserve it, the staff deserve it, the fans deserve it. It's going to be a roller coaster, but been here before, haven't we? So, like you said, let's be really positive. Get the way the year's gone as well with everything going on. I just hope we can go out on a real high, which would be great.
That's great. Thank you. Good luck.
Thanks, Dane.
Peter, do you want to go, or is that?
Yeah. Hi, Wayne.
Hi,
Peter Gillibrand from Heart Radio, Capital Radio, all of them. Regarding fans, first stadium to have fans since 14 months ago. What was the mood like in the camp when you found out you were going to play in front of fans, and how are the players feeling now that they're going to, I guess, entertain a live crowd?
Sorry, I only heard half that question. I think what the players dealing with a live crowd.
Just about the feeling when you found out that fans were coming back into the stadium. What was the feeling amongst the coaches and players, and what's the mood now ahead of the game?
My first instinct was, what's going to change? Because obviously with all the rules and restrictions, I was thinking, what's going to be now different for me as in the group? Like arriving, it might be, the dugouts are now shifted, so it's a different mindset for us. I'm not saying you get used to it, but we had got used to that. Now all of a sudden I was starting to think of not the worst, but like, what's going to change? What can we do? What can't we do? So that was my initial one. The players, you'll have to ask them, but I think they're just we just want them to focus on their football and focus on their job to do. Everything else around that is kind of not there, but is there, and it's how they deal with that. They'll only probably know on the day. But like I said, we've only had the one game this year. We've had the supporters in, and it didn't seem great for us that day because of the dynamic of it. Then we didn't have no away fans, etc. But I just felt that if they think they're looking forward to it because it's not been there. It's been, like you said, 14 months and it's not been there. But I think they're gonna really excel on that. They're going to soak it up, and hopefully that gives us gives them a little bit extra to make that extra run that, like I said before, could just be the difference. And that's all we want. But first to me, I was thinking is like, what's going to change, and I didn't want things to change too much.
But on one sense, depending on how loud the fans are, it could be a bit of an added home advantage.
Oh no, without a doubt, it should be. Well, yeah, if it's not, I'm going to start to worry. It's nice. I want to hear them getting behind us. I've had that feeling for all my football life. That's how it's been. You've seen at the weekend the influence it has on the emotion, etc. It means something, and yeah, the players are feed off that, and I want every one of them to sing to high heaven and get behind the lads. That's what they've done in the past. We've made it hostile for any opposition team that's come there before, whether we've had 5,000, 7,000, and I hope they do the same with only 900. They got to make up for the ones that ain't there. So that I know will be done.
Good luck with everything tomorrow. I hope it goes well.
Appreciate that. Thanks, Peter.
All good.
Wayne, if you send Flynn to Bradford, we'll have you every week. All right.
Top man.
Cheers, Wayne. Have a good one.
Cheers, all.
See you all.
Thank you.
Bye.